Are you receiving SSI benefits right now? Because I need to talk to you about something absolutely critical that could change everything about your monthly payment. We're talking about a 31.2% increase that SSI beneficiaries would need just to reach the federal poverty line. Yes, you heard that right, the poverty line. And right now, roughly 7.5 million Americans receiving supplemental security income are living significantly below it. In this video, I'm going to break down the shocking math behind this, show you exactly where your benefits stand compared to what you actually need to survive, and explain why this program that was designed to fight poverty has turned into something that guarantees poverty instead. My name is Tony, and I've been analyzing Social Security benefits and policy for over years. I've worked with thousands of seniors and disabled individuals navigating the SSI system, and I've seen firsthand how broken this program has become. But here's what I want you to know. I'm not here to sugarcoat things or give you false hope. I'm here to give you the real numbers, the honest truth, and help you understand exactly what's happening with your benefits. You deserve transparency, and that's exactly what I'm going to give you today. Before we dive into these numbers, I need to hear from you. Drop a comment down below right now and tell me, is your SSI benefit actually enough to live on? Can you pay your rent, your utilities, buy food, cover your medications, and still have anything left over? Just comment yes or no. And tell me what state you're in, because I want to understand what you're going through in your specific situation. And listen carefully, because later in this video, I'm going to explain why this 31.2% gap exists, how we got here after 53 years of this program, and most importantly, what you need to understand about the new 2026 benefit amounts that just went into effect. Let me give you the official numbers directly from the Social Security Administration. For 2025, the maximum SSI benefit for an individual was $967 per month. That's it, $967. For a married couple, it was $1,450 per month. Now, with the cost of living adjustment for 2026, those numbers went up slightly. The new maximum for an individual is $994 per month. That's an increase of just $27. For a couple, it's going up to $1,491 per month. But here's where it gets really shocking. The federal poverty line right now, still using 2025 figures, is $15,650 annually for an individual. When you divide that by 12 months, that comes out to $1,304 per month. Let me say that again slower so you can really understand what this means. The poverty line is $1,304 per month. Your maximum SSI benefit in 2026 is $994 per month. That's a difference of $310 every single month that you are below the poverty line. When I calculate that difference on a percentage basis, SSI benefits would need to increase by 31.2% just to equal the federal poverty line. Not to live comfortably, not to have extra money, just to reach the poverty line. Now here's what really concerns me, and I need you to understand the full picture of what's happening. In mid-January, the federal poverty line for 2026 is going to be released, and it's projected to increase by about 4%. That would put it at approximately $16,430 annually, or about $1,369 per month. But your SSI benefit? It's already locked in at $994 for the entire year of 2026. That means the gap, that 31.2% discrepancy we just talked about, is going to get even wider. We're probably looking at a 34% or 35% gap by the time those new poverty line numbers come out. And here's the harsh reality. This didn't happen overnight. This program was created 53 years ago in the early 1970s under President Richard Nixon as an anti-poverty program. It was literally designed to help people aged 65 and over with limited income and resources, or people under 65 with disabilities, so they wouldn't have to rely on friends and family just to survive. But somewhere along the way, it shifted from an anti-poverty program to what I call a guaranteed poverty program. Because if you're on SSI right now, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're living with constant fear. Fear that if you earn a little extra money, they'll cut your benefit. Fear that if a family member helps you with groceries or lets you stay with them, it'll be used against you through something called in-kind support and maintenance. Fear that if you somehow save more than $2,000, you'll lose everything. The $2,000 asset limit hasn't changed in decades. If it had kept up with inflation, it would be over $5,000 today. But instead, you're forced to spend down any savings, forced to refuse help from loved ones, forced to live in constant anxiety about doing anything that might improve your situation. And the worst part? The cost of living adjustment that SSI gets each year hasn't kept pace with real inflation. Year after year, you fall a little further behind. It's like running a marathon where the poverty line takes off at the starting line, and SSI benefits are way back in the pack, losing ground with every mile. After 53 years of falling behind a little bit each year, we've ended up with a 31.2% gap. But I don't want to leave you feeling hopeless, because there are people fighting for change right now. Advocacy groups representing millions of SSI beneficiaries are pushing Congress to modernize this program. They're demanding that the asset limits be raised, that the in-kind support and maintenance penalties be eliminated, and that benefits be increased to actually reflect the cost of living in 2026, not 1972. There's also growing bipartisan acknowledgement that the SSI program is broken. When Republicans and Democrats actually agree on something, that's significant. We're seeing more legislators talk openly about SSI reform, about raising those outdated limits, about fixing the restrictions that keep people trapped in poverty. And here's something important. The more people understand these numbers, the more pressure builds for change. When 7.5 million Americans and their families start demanding reform, when these statistics get shared and discussed, it creates momentum. That's why videos like this matter. That's why your comments and shares matter. The Social Security Administration itself has acknowledged in reports that the current system isn't working. When the agency administering the program says it needs fixing, that carries weight in Washington. Let me break down exactly what you need to know in the simplest terms possible. What is happening? SSI benefits are 31.2% below the federal poverty line right now, and that gap is about to get even wider in January 2026 when new poverty line numbers are released. Your maximum benefit of $994 per month as an individual falls $310 short of what the government itself defines as poverty-level income. Who is affected? All 7.4 million Americans receiving supplemental security income. This includes low-income seniors over 65, people who are blind, and adults with disabilities who have limited income and resources. If you're getting SSI right now, you are living below the poverty line by design of how this program is structured. Why it matters? This isn't just about statistics. This is about your ability to survive. When your benefit doesn't cover basic necessities like rent, food, utilities, medications, and transportation, you're forced to make impossible choices every single day. And when the program penalizes you for trying to improve your situation, it traps you in a cycle of poverty that was never supposed to happen. What comes next? In mid-January 2026, the new federal poverty line will be announced, and we'll see exactly how much wider this gap has become. I'll be making a video the moment those numbers are released. Beyond that, we need to keep pressure on Congress to reform SSI. The advocacy has to continue, the conversation has to keep happening, and beneficiaries need to keep speaking up about their struggles. What you should prepare for. First, understand your current benefit amount and track every dollar. Document your expenses so you have a clear picture of where you stand. Second, if you're close to the $2,000 asset limit, be extremely careful about any windfall or unexpected money. Third, understand the in-kind support and maintenance rules so you know when accepting help might affect your benefit. And fourth, stay connected to advocacy groups and resources that are fighting for SSI reform. Let me give you the complete picture with all the numbers laid out clearly. The maximum federal SSI payment for an individual in 2025 was $967 per month, which equals $11,604 annually. For 2026, that increases to $994 per month, or $11,928 annually. That's a $324 annual increase, or $27 per month. Meanwhile, the 2025 federal poverty line is $15,650 annually for an individual, which breaks down to $1,304 per month. When we calculate the gap between your $994 monthly benefit and the $1,304 poverty line, we get a $310 monthly shortfall, or $3,720 annually. To close that gap, SSI benefits would need to increase by exactly 31.2%. That would bring the monthly payment from $994 to approximately $1,304, finally putting beneficiaries at the poverty line instead of far below it. For couples, the numbers are similar. The 2026 maximum is $1,491 per month. The poverty line for a two-person household is higher, and the percentage gap remains roughly the same. And remember, when the 2026 federal poverty line is released in January with an expected 4% increase, that $1,304 will jump to around $1,369 per month. Your benefit stays at $994. The gap grows from 31.2% to approximately 34 to 35%. Over the course of a year, that means an individual SSI beneficiary is living with $4,500 less than the federal government's own definition of poverty-level income. That's not a small difference. That's rent for several months. That's medications for the entire year. That's food on the table. I want to speak directly to those of you receiving SSI right now. I know you're scared. I know you feel like you're walking on eggshells every single day, terrified that one wrong move will cause your benefit to be cut or eliminated entirely. Maybe someone offered to buy you groceries, and you had to refuse because you were worried it would count as in-kind support. Maybe you wanted to take on a few hours of part-time work, but you know that earning even small amounts will reduce your check. Maybe a family member offered to let you stay with them rent-free, but you can't accept because it would be used against you. You shouldn't have to live this way. You shouldn't have to choose between accepting help from loved ones and keeping your benefit. You shouldn't be forced to stay poor just to qualify for assistance that doesn't even lift you out of poverty. And I want you to know that this isn't your fault. This isn't because you did something wrong or because you're not managing your money well enough. This is a systemic problem with a 53-year-old program that hasn't kept up with the times. The rules are outdated, the benefit amounts are insufficient, and the restrictions are inhumane. You deserve better. Every single person watching this who relies on SSI deserves to live with dignity, security, and the basic necessities of life without constant fear and anxiety. So here's where we are right now. SSI benefits are 31.2% below the federal poverty line, and that gap is about to get even wider in January when the new poverty line numbers come out. This program that was created to fight poverty is instead guaranteeing that 7.5 million Americans live in poverty. This didn't happen all at once. It happened gradually, year after year, as the cost of living adjustments failed to keep pace with real inflation and the real cost of living. Like a marathon runner falling further and further behind with every mile, SSI beneficiaries have been losing ground for 53 years straight. But here's what I want you to take away from this video. You are not alone. Your struggle is real and valid, and there are people fighting for change. The more we talk about these numbers, the more we share this information, the harder it becomes for lawmakers to ignore the problem. My guidance to you is this. First, understand these numbers so you can speak intelligently about your situation. Knowledge is power. Second, connect with advocacy groups fighting for SSI reform. Your voice matters, and collective action creates change. Third, take care of yourself and make the best decisions you can within this broken system while we work to fix it. And please, share this video with other SSI beneficiaries you know. Share it with friends, family members, people at your community center, your church, anywhere you can. The more people who understand the magnitude of this problem, the more pressure builds for reform. If this video opened your eyes to what's really happening with SSI benefits, please take just 2 seconds to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post updates multiple times every single day, and I'll be here the moment those new federal poverty line numbers come out in January so we can see exactly how much wider this gap has become. I also want you to drop a comment below and let me know. Do you feel like you're tiptoeing around on eggshells every day, scared to do anything that might affect your benefit? Are you living in constant fear that accepting help or trying to earn a little extra will cause your check to be cut? Tell me your story. Let's get these real experiences out there so people understand what SSI beneficiaries are actually going through. Remember, you matter. Your security matters. Your dignity matters. And I'm going to keep making these videos, keep breaking down these numbers, and keep fighting to bring attention to this broken system until something changes. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care of yourself, and don't give up hope. We're in this together.